He's a conservative reverend out of Los Angeles, and he got a great show he do every day. But I ran into this clip, and I found it very interesting because he's saying some things on there that make a lot of sense, and it can't even be disputed. Have y'all? And this strictly to black people. This strictly for black people right here. Have you ever noticed that the people who telling you that you can't do this because the white man, this, that, the third, but everything is the white man fault. You ever thought about these people like Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, Sheila Jackson Lee, Corey Bush, Maxine Waters, just to name a few? They all tell y'all about what y'all can't do because y'all black. How y'all gotta deal with racism. But yet they get they children go to the best schools, right? They children go to the best school. White people not holding them back, right? And this is one of the things. Like I say, if you click the link in my bio, I got a lecture I gave on why the civil rights movement was a big mistake. And that's one of the biggest mistakes of the civil rights movement was that it blamed. And like I say, in that time it was a reason to blame, but now it's not. And it carried on. It carried on because people seen preachers, civil rights leaders, and even some people from the Democratic Party, they seen that if they can keep the blacks angry, telling them that the white man is holding them back, the blacks will support them in growth, which will continue to help them get fatter pockets and more power in their respective governments or churches. All while nothing is changing in black people's lives. They still fussing, they still angry, they still blaming the white man, and none of this is helping them. And all these people that's constantly adding fuel to the fire and creating this divide, they living high on the hog. The white people not holding them back. They neighbors white. Jesse Jackson said out his own mouth, if he see a black person with a hood, he gonna cross the street. This is the way these people feel, and black people love them. Especially the older black. You better not say nothing about no Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton around no older black, right? And like I say, that's one of the main reasons of the civil rights part, the civil rights movement, that I never was able to buy in, and why I feel like this is one of the reasons, one of the many reasons. Like I said, I got them all in that lecture. And if you click the link in my bio, you can go look at all the reasons I gave in my lecture why I feel that the civil rights movement was a big mistake for black people that still haunt them to this day. But one of those things was they was never telling blacks what their issue was. Now, like I say, back then it was different, but now they not correcting blacks, right? This is why I don't like hearing nothing from the athletes. They not telling black people what their issue is, what they need to fix. Police brutality and little stuff like that, that's small fry in our community. That's the small, very small issues in our community. We lead in abortion. A whole generation of blacks have been killed in the womb. Black on black crime is out of control. Fatherless homes is at 70 something percent, which leads to a whole bunch of other stuff that you see in the black community. These are the issues. But these civil rights leaders don't speak on that. So I'm gonna let Jesse say a few things and I'm gonna chime back in.
Another thing that I'm realizing more, I didn't know how much human beings love to be used by social causes. They love to be used by social causes. An example of it is the civil rights, so-called civil rights movement. A lot of blacks love the civil rights movement because the so-called leaders of the civil rights movement are getting rich and famous while keeping them, the ones who support them, the blacks, down and out. They keep them angry. They keep them living in hoods. They keep them fighting against cops. They keep them on drugs. They keep them blaming others while they get rich. I
want to stop you for 1 second and say something about what he said about They keep them angry and cops. The average black person in America, not all, but the average black person in America hate police and feel that police is out to get them and kill them. And I'm not gonna lie, at one point when I was in the fallen state, when I was a liberal, several years ago, I felt that way just from what I heard. And you raised, and especially when you come up in the hood like I did, you raised to just hate police for no reason. When they do have bad police, but it's way more greater police than it is bad. And ever since I overcame and became a conservative, I've never had a problem with police. But we're raised to hate police, and here you'll have these civil rights, so-called civil rights leaders, these race hustlers like ambulance chaser Ben Crump or Al Sharpton, not Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, or the late John Lewis, which was another race hustler. All these dudes, right? And they'll come out the woodwork. Sheila Jackson Lee, Corey Bush, Maxie Ward. They'll come out the woodworks when the police kill a black person, but they won't say nothing about black on black crime. But not to mention that, why don't they advocate against teaching the young black men and women, look, when you are pulled over by the police, stay calm, comply with what he say, and if he violate any of your rights, get his badge number, his name. If you can't remember the badge number, get his name, which is if you have a phone, which most people have today, you can take a picture of his badge number, and if he just hypothetically speaking, which he can't stop you from taking that picture, but let's just say he do, um, get his name and go report him. And that is taken very seriously in the day and age that we live in. I know a lot of people might say, well, that's not going to do nothing. They ain't going to do him nothing. Yes, they will. I'm not saying he's going to be fired unless he do something that's really out of the way. But I'm not saying he's going to get fired, but he will for sure get reprimanded. And it will be an issue because this is getting out of hand. And these police officers not taking no chances with no kind of way they can get put in a situation with litigation or bad press. And so if you go to these people and let them know what happened, they gonna bring up the body cam, and if you got a case, not only will they be a situation of litigation, he could have criminal charges or be fired if he done something wrong enough to violate your rights. So why don't you hear these people advocating about that instead of telling people? You got these people like Corey Bush, Sheila Jackson Lee. They these people of Congress. You know what I'm saying? These people in the U.S. government, Ilhan Omar, and they telling black people, hey man, the police gonna get you. The police gonna do this. The police gonna do that. And even in the lower levels, you have mayors, black governors, black city council, and they pushing forth this narrative that cops are just out here hunting black people. Instead, they could be pushing the narrative that, hey, comply, follow the orders of the law, and worst case scenario, go to jail. But do not fight the officer, do not argue with him, comply. If he violates your right, get his badge number. Why don't they advocate solutions instead of problems? Why don't they advocate the solution instead of constantly being reactive to the situation that happened once it didn't already happen and somebody either dead or shot up? I'm gonna let them finish.
Of the idea of racism, and they're living high on the hog. The Jacksons and the NAACPs and the Maxine Waters, the Wicked Witch of the West with the low IQ, and Sheila Jackson Lee, who need to go home and sit down and shut up. But
I want to pause one more time because he mentioned the NAACP. During the time when President Trump was in office, and he spoke and was it was a Congress, one of those meet up with Congress, and he was speaking about how he got the lowest black unemployment that they ever had in this country since I believe 1942. The Black Caucus and the NAACP refused to stand up and clap for him, right? They don't care about black people. They all about power and wealth.
the blacks love it. And I noticed that that's how it is with the baby killing, the women who love killing their babies. They love being used so that those who are promoting killing the babies can make buku money off of them. The ones that are running the social causes in our society are getting wealth. You're being used and you love it. Anyone remind you of that? You're a sellout. You're Uncle Tom. You're this. You're that. They don't want to be reminded that they're being used. And they won't even take a moment to reflect, to look around. Well, if baby killing is fine, Why is it that the people who are urging you to kill your babies are not killing their babies? Why is it that they're not?
I want to stop it again. We live in a world today, and I know a lot of people not gonna like this, but it is what it is. We live in a world today where everybody follows. You have very, 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 very few people who willing to stand alone and stand on truth. Most people in the world are followers. They do what they're told. They do what's cool. They do what's accepted, even if they know it's wrong. If it's cool and accepted, that's what they do. And the reason why they do that, because if you're gonna stand on truth or stand on morals, you always gonna be on the island for the most part. Because most people in the world today are followers, have no morals. They do whatever they told, and they do whatever other people do, and they do whatever is popular, right? And so, you know, when you have these type of causes, you will have people that's supporting it and don't even know why they supporting it. And like he say, the people who pushing these things, once again, like I said about the civil rights leader, they not struggling, right? The white man ain't holding them back, and these people who in Congress pushing these liberal ideologies like abortion and all that, these people don't kill their babies. These people do not kill their babies, but they want you to do it. And because you don't think for yourself, you do what everybody else do. Oh, it's a woman choice. No, it's not. You being used. You out here with a picket sign being used for some people who making buku money and refuse to kill their babies, grandchildren, and anybody in their family, but they telling you to do it because they using you as a pawn to push their political narrative. And they gonna get power and wealth while you gonna still be in the street living your regular life, killing your babies and think it's okay when they not gonna do it.
Killing their children. If you ever question it, you'll wake up. Everybody and their mama knows that the public school system is pure evil. It's a money making scheme. It has nothing to do with reading, writing, and arithmetic. And yet they tell you to send your kids there. Because the more kids there, the more money they make. And guess where they're sending their children? The teachers and the unions and the others, the Barack Obamas and other people like that. They're sending their children to private schools.
Yep.
And you're so blind and love being controlled that you won't even question that. Okay, why don't you have your kids in these schools if they're so good? You'll fight to send your children to a public school system being used for money and perceived power by the unions, by the teachers, by the heads of the school, the principals, and all that mess. You're not awake enough to know that you're just on the total. The poor are being kept poor because the rich are getting rich off the poor by keeping them poor, by making them fight for their cause so they can get the money. They raise money with that stuff. Oh, racism exists? Donate some money. Oh, the poor black kids can't eat. The poor black kids can't get Christmas toys. Send them some money. And the money ends up in the pockets of the ones who are raising the money. But you're still in a fallen state. You're unwilling, and you love your state. That's why God just leave you there. He let you stay there because that's where you want to be.
And the reason why he say what he's saying is most people love their hell and they love being in a fallen state. Because if you try to tell them, that's why the scriptures say in Matthew 7:6, don't waste what's holy on dogs. Don't cast your pearls to swine, because the swine will trample over those pearls and turn around and attack you. And that's exactly what people do when you tell them something. They love ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is bliss. I remember when somebody first told me that I didn't understand it, but I understand it now. Some people rather just be ignorant to stay bliss. The less they know, the better they is. And right, and when you try to get them jewels and try to get them knowledge, they gonna do just like the scriptures say in Matthew 7:6. Not only is they gonna disregard it, some situations they'll verbally, physically attack you. But for sure, verbal, you're a coon, you're a sellout, you this, you that, right? When all you trying to do is tell them. So that's why he said you people love their hair. They do. They love it. Ignorance is bliss.
Because if you didn't want to be in the fallen state, if you wanted to have peace in your life, you can have it. Christ came and it's done. But you got to focus on you. You got to work on you. And so many people are unwilling to do it. They love their damnation and they blame it on God. When they stay there and suffer, well, God, let the children die. What kind of God would do this? You're doing it. The way it's been made. But you're letting your own children die. And by supporting all these social causes, you're supporting the people that are helping to destroy your children. They use your children to remove God from this public school system. And they replace it with men dancing in dresses. I can't even get past that. I wonder, why is that important to watch some dude dance in a dress? There are women who literally take the man's children to libraries and whatever event to watch men dressed in women clothes dancing, all nasty and into his face. And so freedom from it is not for all, it's for those who will receive it. And if somebody don't want it, wish them well and go your way. That's what God does. Okay, I wish you well, bye. Satan is your daddy, and you ain't gonna be happy.
Listen, man, I ain't gonna lie. That's one of the hardest things for me over the last few years since I came out of that liberal mindset and came into being a Christian conservative. Listen, man, you gotta understand. A lot of people ain't gonna get it. A lot of people gonna just leave this earth in a fallen state. I hate to say it, but in my community, a lot of young black men is gonna die in the street or in prison. A lot of women gonna die with multiple children out of wedlock and on Section 8, food stamp, government assistance. And it's not because they can't do better. It's because they don't want better. And you gotta leave those people behind. Because you gotta understand, at the end of the day, man, God got his chosen people on this earth. Some of them know who they are, some of them don't know who they are yet. And they gonna be the leaders. They gonna be the ones who lead us into the next generation. Right? And so, or not so much lead us into the next generation, they the ones who gonna do the same thing that the men of God of the Bible did. And the rest of these people in the world are just like extras in the movie. Right? I hate to say it like that, but it is what it is, bro. This movie that the Most High is directing, most people are extras. Right? There's only a few leaders and there's only a few people that's gonna follow the leaders. And some people they just gonna fall by the wayside. They gonna fall by the wayside, like I say, not because God don't want them to help, because we know the Bible say it's not God's will that no man should perish. But some people just don't want to help, and you gotta let them be. You gotta cut them off, let them be, and keep it pushing forward. Because when I was first enlightened, I was trying to push it on people, Facebook, Instagram, and I got so much hate and backlash from family, friends, strangers, by just trying to tell them the truth. People will come against you for trying to enlighten them. People will come against you for trying to bring them up out the dark hole that they in.
And you trust the experts because they have a degree and they have no clue of what they're doing. But the one thing that I can assure you, if you ever decide that you want to be an individual again, and being an individual is not something you can make of yourself. It comes from within. When you as an individual start to focus on what's happening inside of you, you will become an individual.
And I'm gonna end it there. Um, I'm gonna end it there. But I wanted to just say before I end this, what he said at the end about being an individual. It's okay to stand for your people. It's okay to stand for your family, but they got to be on the same type of time as you. If not, you got to cut them off. That's why I always tell people this whole black thing. Everybody black is not my people, right? Everybody black is not my people. Even Jesus Christ said in the Bible when his disciples came and told him, if you go read Luke 12:50, Luke 12:49 through 56. When the Most High, no, I'm sorry, Matthew 12:49 through 56. When Jesus was with his disciples told him, look, your mother and your brother is outside and they want to see you. And Jesus looked at them, he said, my mother and my brothers are the people who follow the will of my Father. And that's who my people is. So everybody black is not my people. So we gotta stop that being this whole black thing. I'm black. I'm this that. You gotta be an individual. Stand on what's right, what you know right. Even if it's not popular, if you know it's right, you stand on that. Even if you gotta stand alone. And everybody black is not our people, because this channel is geared toward God fearing conservative black men. Anybody can listen to it. I'm thankful for anybody that listen to it, but it's really geared toward the conservative, godly black men, or the people who trying to convert to being that way. The people with an open mind, the people that's willing to listen and have a conversation. But all these rah rah, hoopity holler, big mouth, loud mouth, I don't have time for them, because most of these activists, that's all it is. They loud mouth with no solution. I'm trying to be solution based and solution oriented. That's how I am in my life, and that's what I'm gonna be sharing on this channel. And I just want to thank y'all for listening. Have a blessed one.